So this is the first session back on track after my little off. I've been checked over by the medical centre, everything's absolutely fine, but I am nervous about my tyres. The people next to me, who I'd made friends with, actually had an idea to go out slightly later than the rest of the group, so I could get my nose in and try and get a bit more confident on the bike before increasing the pace, and then my tyres would be warm as well. Unfortunately, that didn't go as planned, as you'll see later on in the video. So one of, pretty much the only reason I'm considering tyre warmers is for reasons like this. So we actually, the session was red flagged, we went back to the pits for a while, some people went back to the paddock and then they came back out again about 10 minutes later. My tyres were cold again, so I spent another 2 laps getting heat into my tyres, and if I remember rightly, the session was red flagged again. So this was a common theme on the first day, and actually the second day as well, of us not really getting a lot of lap time in. We ended up getting red flagged so much that I never actually got a full clean lap at Snetterton, which is fine. It's one of those things, and I'm partially to blame having an off as well myself. But I definitely think there was something slippery on the track. A lot of people were saying that their times were down, and there were a lot of accidents. A lot of the marshals were saying that it's unheard of to have so many red flags in a single day. So this was actually one of the people I got to know on the track day, and he's a really nice chap. It was him and his friend that were at the track day together, and they were the people that decided that we should go out slightly later and put the pace on gradually so we had a clean lap. Unfortunately, obviously as you can see, they had an off, and I did notice that when we went back to the pits the first time for the first red flag, neither of them came off with me. So I thought they might have had a mechanical failure or similar, but unfortunately both of them came off, and none of them rode again that day, which is unfortunate. One of them ripped his master cylinder apart, and the other one I just don't think was up for another risk of going on track. But a real shame, because they're both really nice people. So there's actually a really interesting issue happening with the bike at the moment, and you can see it for the first time in this clip. I shift from 3rd to 4th to 5th, and it looks like in 5th gear I roll off the throttle a little bit, but that's not actually the case. I was flat out in 5th gear, but as you can see the bike has a lot less power. Now I'm not too sure on the reason why it's like this. I've actually just bought a race ECU for it, but I don't know if that will solve the problem. For some reason the bike would pull really well in 3rd, 4th, and then in 5th it would be down on power, but there wouldn't be any nasty sounds. I don't think it's gearbox related. I have a feeling it's something to do with the gear position sensor, thinking it's in 2nd rather than being in 5th, and it's got a different ignition mapping. To get around this, what I was doing later on in the sessions was that I was short shifting from 5th to 6th, which is obviously losing me a fair amount of pace on the back straight, but it was faster than sitting in 5th and allowing it to rev out really slowly.
right?
Oh, fantastic. You're right. You're right.
I'm assuming someone's dropped it, have they? Or?
Yes. On turn 5.
Okay.
Was it? Or was it 6? Hamilton, yeah, turn 5.
Right, fair.
I thought it was Hamilton, but I didn't want to assume.
I always have to count them.
What, 5?
Well, I know what they are by name,
Ritchie's,
but then
Wilson, Palmer, Oggies,
Yeah.
Hamilton.
I know Murray's 12.
Oggies!
When I do the report, I always put both the name
Yeah.
and the number.
And the number, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. Because obviously you think up the stripe.
So this chap in front now, he was actually next to me in the paddock, and he's a really nice chap. We got on really well, and our riding is pretty similar. So we end up being together a lot throughout the sessions, although I don't know if he comes up a lot in the videos. But yeah, he's a really good rider, really enjoyable to ride with. So ignore the camera there. I was having some issues where the camera kept thinking it was on its side, and I don't think it was because of my lean angles. I think it just set it up wrong, so I'm not going to give myself that one. But in front of us again now is my friend that I was next to in the paddock. As you can see, once there's a bit of warmth in my tyres, and I've had a couple of sessions, we're pretty similar in terms of pace, and there's a lot of sort of back and forth where I might take him on the straights and he might take me back in the corners. So it was really good. It was really good fun riding with him. Hopefully my friend with his ZX7R will be on track soon, and we'll have some more footage of us like battling a little bit more, because it's really enjoyable. And I think that's when you sort of really get into your groove. And obviously, you know, I guess there's more risk, but it's so much fun. Such fun. So in this section, I get caught up behind this Fireblade. I think I was relying too much on the 750's power to overtake in a lot of the corners. So I was basically only overtaking on corner exit, where I could wind it on a bit faster than the other guys, and on the back straights. So this chap had a lot faster bike than me, and I became unstuck quite quickly, where I just couldn't get past him, but I felt like I probably had the pace on him. So I think in this instance I needed to get him on the brakes, or I needed to get him mid-corner or something similar, but I just didn't have the confidence with the tyres. Obviously don't forget, I'm still running the 8-year-old rubber here. I've already had an off this day, and I did not want to crash again. It's embarrassing as much as anything. Going back in that truck, if you haven't done it, is the most embarrassing thing ever, and I didn't want my partner to be panicking either. So I do improve on this the following day, and as the sessions go on I get more and more confident, but obviously this is all a learning process. This is only my second track day ever, and I haven't really been riding bikes that much in recent years, so it's all a learning process, and it's about taking your time. can see there the valiant effort of the S-Rad to get him on corner exit there. I think looking back at the footage, I could have carried a lot more corner speed and I could have opened it up a little bit sooner. But hindsight is 2020, and I still had a great time. So on camera it's hard to see, but obviously in person I can see his brake lights, so I know when he's braking, and I'm normally braking around the same time just so I don't go at the back of him. In this situation I actually broke and then thought, do you know what, I can probably come into this corner a little bit hot and take him. So that was the decision I made. Really proud of the S-Rad with its brakes here, because it can outbrake most bikes on this track. The brakes are amazing with the Brembo Master system.